I would say the earlier you can start, the better, because it's not going to get easier the longer you wait. Um, so start early, start smart.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I am Delisha Ivins, and I'm here today on behalf of Mike Shreve and the No Pants Project. And today I have the awesome opportunity to interview and talk with Alex Florez. So Alex, where are you joining us from?
I am in Plainfield, Connecticut.
Plainsfield, Connecticut. Is it really like a bunch of plains fields there, or is that a thing?
I think it's called that just because it's real boring here. It's actually it's Plainfield, not Plainville, or because that's actually the other side of the state.
Oh, wow.
Like go to the wrong place before, and they're like 2 hours away. So
There's more than one plain place in Connecticut, is what you're telling me.
yeah, there's a couple of places. There's also interesting places, but there's some.
So I wanted to say thank you up front for joining me for this time because it's super fun. I get to have like the fun job of kind of going through and seeing people in the No Pants Project, seeing students who are like putting in the effort and doing the work and kind of following their journey, like from the time they start as they kind of work toward their full-time freelancing goal. And it's so fun to kind of watch the students like you to kind of struggle and, hit their high points and hit their wins and hit the clarity and then just get it. So it's super awesome to me that you're going to take your time this morning and kind of share some of that story with us. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, most definitely. Now tell me a little bit about your superpower. What is it that you offer your clients? What is it you do for them?
Well, that's actually been one of my biggest struggles as I go through the program is narrowing it down to something specific. So I find that I kind of have a couple different statements that I give depending on who I'm talking to. So if I'm aiming for somebody in like a business where they need graphic design work, I might have one thing. If I'm aiming for writers who need an artist, I aim for something else. So it's I don't want to say it. I don't want to boast and say I'm so multi-talented, but there's a lot of things that I enjoy doing that I also think that I'm good at. So I've tried a couple different. The one recently, I have to write it down because, like I said, I have too many. So what I've been using lately is I help small businesses boost their online presence with a visual overhaul to help their social media and website make them profits. So I mix it up a little bit, but that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Most definitely. And it kind of depends on who you're talking to too, which I think when you are multi-talented and you do have kind of a wide like array of skills, like you can kind of, I think Trish, who's one of the coaches in MPP, she said something really great in this really great like superpowers thread one time, which for whatever reason never occurred to me. And she said this one thing and it gave me this great like aha clarity moment and I loved it. And she said, don't get hung up on the idea that you only have one superpower. Like you can have lots of superpowers. Like Superman can fly and can also like have super strength. And I don't know, I'm really not a comic person. Does he do something with lasers in his eyes? He has a lot of stuff.
Superman has like too many superpowers.
See, but each one serves when he's trying to help somebody at that moment. And it's the same thing. You don't have to be limited to only helping one type of customer with only this one service or this one superpower. Like you can have 10, 15, whatever. You can have whatever you can do that helps your client. So that's pretty cool that you've already kind of figured that out for yourself because it took me reading a post.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that I had to kind of figure out first out of the various things that I figured out was I tried to make it all one statement before, and it was just way too long and way too vague, I think. Like being so specific about so many different things that it actually became confusing and vague.
Right.
So trying to narrow it down. And usually when I'm doing, so if I'm doing like a cold email blast, I'll have just one that I use that specific day, so I can kind of focus on one industry. So what I'll do is I will search for businesses, like say restaurants, and I will aim my superpower statement to focus on what I can do for them as far as setting up a website, working on their social media, and I will focus in on that specific industry for that day. And then another day, maybe I want to work more with writers who need an illustrator for their book. I'll focus on a superpower statement that's more in line with that.
Right on. And I think that's pretty key that you're even talking about that. And you're talking about doing emailing, and I'm assuming you're referencing like the fast client getting method that's taught in MPP.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I was doing the full 90 days no pants project, and I still am going to go back to that. I had some more opportunities pop up with the 90-day challenge. So not 90-day challenge, the fast client getting workshop. So I sort of put the no pants project, the main course, on hold for now while I focus on that, and that's actually kept me really busy with just 2 clients since May. So that's actually worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, it totally can. And just to clarify for those people watching, so the fast client getting workshop is it's a separate program actually from the No Pants Project. So the No Pants Project, the core idea is that you're building your full-time freelance business in 90 days. Fast client getting is you want to like test the market, or you want to test a couple of different offers before you like kind of build out like a full kind of client getting faucet. Or maybe you just need some clients now, like you just need to get some stuff in the pipeline. So it's actually like a separate product. But what's cool is that when you get the No Pants Project, Mike has included that as an add-on with it. So you actually get the full 90 days, and then you also get access to Fast Client Getting, which teaches you how to test offers, test markets, and how to get clients in your pipeline fast. If you need to go ahead and just get some work churning out, get some stuff coming out. So yeah, it's a super great program, and I love it too. So I know you are doing full-time now. You're full-time now. You're not working a job anymore. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah. I was working as a graphic designer in a printing press for kind of off and on for 6 years. The last, I think 3 years was full-time. And that job became a nightmare. I mean, it's a job that I enjoyed. My wife said I had Stockholm syndrome, which I think is more like wishful thinking, like things were going to get better, that it wasn't going to become like overtime every single week, like missing dinners and stuff. It was just a small shop, and there was like a lot of weight on my shoulders, and some of the clients became a nightmare, and it was just I needed to get out. So things kind of like aligned nicely. Like we got our tax return, and there were just some other opportunities that came up, and it all kind of like worked at just the right time. So doing this full time wasn't completely luck, but I did get lucky that the situation presented itself. I think the main thing was that situation probably would have come up before if I had taken advantage of it, and I didn't, because I was so stuck on my job security that I didn't take opportunities before. And I started the No Pants Project right before quitting my job, and I think it was that's what really gave me the motivation, like seeing the webinar and going through the No More list, and it just put me in the right mindset to make that leap, because it was a risk, leaving my job. But I'm making, essentially right now, I'm making the same money that I was making before, but I'm working about a quarter of the amount of time that I was
right
working.
on.
So it's definitely the more time that I'm able to spend with my 2 girls and my wife, and just enjoy my family, enjoy my free time has been a huge reduction in stress. And yeah, I wouldn't go back.
So it's safe to say that you like it.
Yes, a lot. Yeah. I definitely like it.
Very cool. So tell me about some of the goals that you have with freelancing. Like, what are you thinking about? You've got, your family, and then you've got maybe even like career goals or what you want to do with your business. Tell me a little bit about what your aspirations are.
Sure. Well, right now we're just working to kind of get stable footing. So, work has been going well. We just want to make sure that we're really secure. So I'm still plugging away at stuff. But I do have personal aspirations that I feel like being a freelancer is enabling me to do. I went to school to be an artist. So I like do painting, drawing, illustration, cartooning, stuff like that. So those industries are a little bit harder to find work in. And I don't necessarily want to do those for another person. I want to do them for myself. So having the financial freedom to pursue my own artistic interests is one of the biggest draws for me of freelancing. So having that time and that financial independence to pursue those. And then if the stuff that I publish, takes off, that's great. If it doesn't, then I'm still doing okay. The reason I hadn't been doing them is because I was working all the time.
Right.
So right now I'm actually one thing that I'm doing is I'm launching a website in the next couple weeks. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but it looks like it's actually going to be next week, to sell 3D graphics resources that I'm making. So that's I've been building a Facebook page. I've been practicing different search engine stuff with that, building the website. So it's kind of like practice for the work that I do for people anyway, but I'm actually doing it for myself and hoping that takes off. So hopefully in the next few months, that'll be going really well for me. And then I'm doing that while I'm doing work for other people.
And you have time to do both. I mean, like you're building like your own business while you're doing client work. So that's,
right.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. I like it. So, remind me, do you remember when you signed up for the No Pants Project? Like, do you remember when that was?
It was either April or May.
Okay.
I saw the webinar first, which, I mean, that's kind of necessary to get into it. So I saw the webinar, and it took, I want to say, about a month for me to actually commit to joining the project. And I'd say if there's anything that I regret, it's like not doing it the first month. Like, like I don't know why I waited. I mean, I know why I waited. It was the job security.
Right.
Like, I've been here, we're able to almost pay all of our bills with the money I was making. And it was just really getting myself into that headspace was the thing that I was struggling with. So I should have done it so much sooner.
Yeah, you totally should. Yeah. I've seen some of the stuff you've done. Like, it's been really cool. I kind of Facebook stalked you because I went over onto your Facebook page and I saw some links that you put up to some client work you were working on. I was like, this is really good.
Oh, the real estate stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of those things where the stars aligned. So that project alone has bankrolled my move out of an apartment in the city to a house. I mean, we didn't buy the house. We're still renting, but that bankrolled the whole move. That paid all of our bills since May, pretty much. So
that one project for that one client.
That one project, and I'm working on a second website now. So that was really, that was really a big blessing. That job actually kind of fell into my lap. I can't take credit for really good searching on my part. A former coworker actually referred them to me, and that, I would say, through all the stuff that people are learning through the project, definitely don't disregard work that coworkers or former coworkers can send your way. Like, take advantage of any resource you have. And I had been, I think it was like a week or two since I had quit my job, and the manager of our sister store was like, "Hey, one of our clients needs a website, and we don't do that because it's just a printing company." They're like, "Do you do websites?" I'm like, "I can do websites." So
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad I jumped on that.
And I think if you would have done I think it's the 5-day challenge. So if you would have taken advantage of that, which is in MPP, you would have been doing that anyway. So the 5-day challenge in No Pants is basically, it's a really cool challenge to reach out to your existing contacts over a period of 5 days and be like, "Hey, I'm doing this new thing now. Here are some of the services I offer. Here's how I can help people. Do you know anybody who needs some help? I'm trying to get some stuff off the ground." So for people who are just kind of looking to jump into freelancing, who really don't have previous experience, there's even a really great, and like it's all templated out for you and everything. I was, talking to somebody the other day. I was like, there's so many resources in MPP. Like there's literally so many resources that sometimes you can look at it and be like,
Yeah.
where do I go?
It's a little overwhelming. It's funny that you bring up the 5-day challenge, because that's how I got my second client. So
See?
I was able to reach out to a customer that I had worked pretty closely with, and I already knew that he really enjoyed working with me. So I was able to reach out to him and start working on his website. So I've pretty much fully transitioned from being a print graphic designer to a web designer just by taking my print clients and saying, "Hey, you need your website updated."
Yeah, well, obviously they do. Obviously. So tell me, because you said that one of the things that was hard for you, and I think it's hard for a lot of people, is just moving out of that mindset of like job security. This is what I do, and it's crazy because for a lot of us, like it's ingrained. Like even like on an educational level, like as early as like elementary school, like what do you want to do when you grow up? Oh, I want to do this job, right? I want to do this thing. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get a degree to do this thing. I'm going to work for this company. And so kind of developing the entrepreneurial spirit and the ability to take risk can be hard for a lot of people. So kind of, can you tell me a little bit about that, about how that looked and like, your confidence level going in and how that all came together for you?
Yeah, sure. Well, I for a long time I was stuck on that job because in my head I was thinking, this pays the bills. I'm working with. I did work with people that I liked. Not all of them, but and it was a job that I enjoyed and a job that I was good at. But the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about my job security, for one, my job was not necessarily secure. I watched a few people around me getting laid off. I could kind of see where finances were going. In the whole idea that my job was secure just because I did a good job was quickly disappearing, because I saw people who had been working there for almost like 20 years, and I've been working there for 6 years. People have been working there for a long time. Their job was becoming less important because of where the industry was going, and that made me realize, like, I could stick around here for 20 years, and then I could get laid off, and then what would I do? I need to maybe get retrained in a different industry. It was just not the security was not as there as I wanted to believe. And then looking at my finances, I was definitely making less than a graphic designer is supposed to be making in the industry. I only have an associate's degree. I don't have a bachelor's, so it kind of made sense that I was being paid a little bit less than industry standard. But looking at the amount of money I was making and the number of hours I was spending making it, what really put me over the edge and to make the jump into freelancing was seeing that, if I make, say, $14 an hour doing almost 50 hours a week sometimes, and then looking at how quickly I can make that same amount of money if I build, say, even only $50 an hour. And that's not even what I build, but something as low as $50 an hour, which is pretty low on the freelancer. And
Mm-hmm.
the difference in hours that I would be spending, I was looking at spending like 40 hours a month working and then having the rest of the work hours in the month to look for more clients. And just the difference that made, like I could spend more time looking for clients and still make the same amount of money was that was a game changer for me. That's really when my mind changed. And I hadn't fully convinced myself. I was actually talking to my best friend about it, and he wasn't so sure. And I don't think I even convinced him in that conversation. But that's what convinced me. It's I did the math and I made the argument to him. And I went, wait a minute, I could actually make the same amount of money and only be working those few hours and have the amount of time people spend to find a job in a month. And so far it's worked. I mean, that's I don't have my lighthouse set up. I don't have all my funnels going in to send work my way, but it's really, I've only spent maybe like a total of 10 hours since May looking for clients, because the clients that I've gotten in that little amount of time has been such high quality work that I've been able to survive these months with just the clients I found in that time. So definitely my confidence was there that I could do the work. My confidence wasn't there that I could find the work.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the numbers and Mike had some, I think it was in the 5-day challenge, he had some suggestions of how quickly you would get responses on things, something like, you send like 100 emails a day and you get like maybe like 5% responses. I mean, I didn't even get to 100 emails before I got a response from that client that I'm working on the second website now. So that really makes a difference.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you're still kind of in that discovery phase, which, happens for new freelancers, which is totally, fine. But when you're getting to that point where you're trying to find out, well, which clients do I want to work with? Do I want to work with restaurants? Do I want to work with real estate people? Do I want to work with fitness? Do I want to work with, like, what industry do I like? Where do I want to go with this? Which out of like the 20 things I can do, which ones are my favorite to offer, and which offerings get me the best return on investment for my time and my energy and get the best results for the client. So, you're still doing some of that like fast client getting and 5-day challenges and rolling all that up. And as you experiment and as you kind of play in your sandbox and learn which things are your favorite to offer and which ones get the clients the best results and stuff, you're going to start narrowing that down. And as you narrow that down, you're going to be like, you know what? No, I'm ready. I want to build my lighthouse. I want to turn on my client getting faucet. I want to build my email list. And I want to do it for this industry because now that I've worked with 2 or 3 clients in this industry, I know what their pain points are. Like, I get it. And I know how to get them from A to Z quickly and efficiently, and to help get them out of there, to help get them to the happy place. So as you're going through those, you're going through these exercises and you're learning more and more, like your full-time freelancing, you didn't even fully complete the 90-day process. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're learning. That's awesome.
Yeah. That website fall into my lap. That definitely helped. Like I said, I got lucky with some of the stuff, and it was, yeah, if I hadn't gotten that website, I probably would have finished the program, because financially that's what would have made sense for me to go through the rest of it. And then I've just been busy working. I mean, and when I say busy working, I've been busy working on my own terms. Like, I'm not spending 50 hours a week working on this stuff. I'm not spending 80 hours a week working on this stuff. I'm spending like 5 to 20 hours a week working on this stuff. It depends on, when you're doing a website, sometimes there's kind of an ebb and flow of work, because maybe you're waiting for photos, maybe you're waiting for feedback. But on average probably about 10 hours a week. And with my wife is in school, she still works a little bit. Um, Between all the other things that we do, like with two toddlers, basically, so 10 hours a week is about all I can muster right now. So it's definitely been a blessing to have that time. And I definitely want to finish the program. I think there's a lot of valuable stuff in the program that I haven't gotten to yet. And as I'm starting my own business, which that was another thing where I jumped right in because the opportunity presented itself, and I'm done holding myself back from opportunities out of fear, I guess. I feel like I'm over that. So Wix did a 50% sale the past like few weeks on websites and all the things that are included in premium packages. So I was like, you know what? It's 50% off. This is the time for me to start this website and do this now. So I just kind of fully launched myself into making this business, and it's going okay so far. I mean, I'm still making my products. I'm trying to launch like while I'm making the products, so it's a little confusing right now, tumbling through all this stuff. But it's nice to have the resources that are in the different. I've signed up for a couple of different of the No Pants Project programs, and it's nice to have all those resources at my disposal as I'm trying to start this business, because it's helping me do stuff with like finding clients through social media, figuring out how I'm going to set up funnels to get people in, and it's giving me more ideas to create a more fully rounded business package. Because the thing off the top of my head that I want the business to be is I want to be able to sell this artwork that I do, and that's the baseline of it. That's there's all these other things that I want to provide through that business that I don't think I would have thought of without all the stuff that the No Pants Project provides. So on top of selling my artwork, I also want to have some free stuff that'll get people's attention, some free resources that anybody can use. I want to provide training with that. I want to, I'm considering doing a course, an expert maker course with all of that stuff as well. And just all these different things that I can add on to the business to make it really valuable and get a lot of attention on it. That a year ago, I would have just probably given up because I only had this one product that maybe not that many people would be interested in. So all the freelancing tools are really helping me to kind of expand my mind as far as what I can offer, and really I went off on a tangent. Yeah, that was pretty much it. That just yeah.
Maybe not sleeping through the night. It's kicking in.
Yeah, that's definitely, well, that has nothing to do with work now. It used to be work, and now it's just kids.
Yeah. So we're about 12 minutes over, so I'm going to kind of get through some of these next few questions just so editing doesn't kill me. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. I talk too much anyway.
No, you're good. So you told me, Alex, that some of the struggle for you was overcoming the idea that that you had to have job security, which, like you stated, like it's not even really security because you don't even control your own like destiny at that point. Like in that scenario, you're giving someone else who's over you power over whether or not you get paid and if you get a paycheck and if you keep your job. Whereas like, as a freelancer, you can choose what clients you work with and how quickly you get clients and that kind of thing. So it's really kind of interesting to realize that early on. Tell me about some of the high points you had, like when you got your first client, when you realized it was possible. What did that look like for you?
The coolest thing with my first client that probably happened was I actually sat down in person and met with them because they were nearby. We talked about what we could do what I could do for the website, what they were looking for, and I wasn't sure that I could do it yet. It was doing a WordPress site, and I wasn't very familiar with WordPress yet. And I took a bunch of notes, and I had committed to myself that I would not give them a price in person right there at the meeting, that I would take time to actually look through what they asked for and go, can I do this? I will take in everything that they're thinking of and figure out if it's something that I can help them with. And told them I'd get back to them in the next few hours after I figured it out. So I went home, crunched the numbers, went, okay, this is definitely stuff that I can do. I might need help on this thing and this thing. I know where I can outsource that work to if I need to. And I kind of know about how much it would cost. So I went back with a number that I felt was fair, and a number that I knew could support me and my family for a couple months. And I sent it to them, and they just said, okay. And it was, I kind of gave them as an a la carte menu. I broke it down to like, this is the base price for your website. Here are all these extra features that I can do if you want those. And they just said, okay. And they're like, they bought the whole thing. I was like, really? Like, okay, that's cool.
Like, so, don't talk yourself out of it. You're like,
yeah. Yeah, and that was a great feeling, that it was somebody who I met in person. They were really nice, they were really friendly, and they were so willing to just cut a check for 50%, which was like almost 3 months worth of living expenses. So that was that was an amazing feeling, to like drudge through weeks of work, and my last week of work was hell. I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but it was that last week of work was, I worked overtime on my last day of work. It was so hard, and I was dead at the end of it. And then 2 weeks later, somebody was just like, here, have 3 months of expenses in a check. Thanks for the website. It was such an encouragement that already things were improving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest moment with my first client. And then just this whole summer being able to spend time with my family. I think being able to put a blanket on the front lawn and sit down with my daughter and have lunch in the middle of the afternoon just because we could was really cool.
Oh, and I don't know, she's gonna remember that a lot more than even you realize. So that's super precious that you get to do that stuff with her. Yeah, like I know, like my dad, he owns his own company. He's an entrepreneur. And I remember he was the opposite. What's really cool about what Mike teaches is that he teaches you to build your business around your lifestyle. And even my dad didn't have that teaching. So he tried to fit his lifestyle into his business, which meant that sometimes vacations were cut short. Sometimes he didn't make it to my play, things like that. And that was really hard. And that for a long time kept me from even wanting to start a business. And then I was like, oh, wait, I don't have to sack me. I mean, I can actually work. It's my business. I can actually do it on my terms and get to spend more time with my kids than working. And that's been super sweet. Like, I love it. I love it. I'm going to go play with them after this video, I think. So, as far as getting started and getting launched, there are going to be some people who are watching this interview right now, and they're, maybe they're struggling with like that idea of, can I do this? I really need my job. I really need to make these expenses work. I have bills to pay. I have a family support. What would be like maybe 3, tactics or a breakthrough strategy or something that you could offer someone, just like, here's my gift to you. Like, this is how you can get this done, kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I think definitely that was where I struggled for a long time. And even I tried freelancing before I was working full time, and that's why it didn't work for me the first time, because I didn't have all these tools at my disposal. So I would say the first thing, definitely be smart about it. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. So I kind of waited till I had a little bit of a nest egg.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned earlier, that we had just gotten in our tax returns, so
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not going to say have kids, but
Right.
that's kind of how it worked out for us. We had kids, and that helped our tax return out. So that definitely gave us a little bit of capital to kind of get things rolling. That gave me a little bit of a buffer to make sure, because that's really what I needed. Is I needed the security. I needed to. I was afraid to take the risk because I wanted to make sure my family was provided for. So
And I
for
think
me,
some
just
people have
having
said like even having like 3 months, if you wanted to just jump straight in and not like build it on the side of like working full time, like even having 2 or 3 months I've heard is a good kind of a good number to have.
yeah, with our finances, we had about 1 month.
Yeah.
So that was more of a risk than I was comfortable taking. But when I was looking at as we went through the year, like that 1 month of finances would become nothing. Like we would try to save that, and then every year before, like a car broke, we had to go to the hospital for something. Like there was always something that made that 1 month advantage disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was another place where I knew that I had to do the freelancing. I had to break out of what I was doing for my job because there was no upward momentum. There
Right.
was no way, there was no position for me to get a promotion. It was unlikely I was going to get a raise. So I knew that I had to break that cycle. And that's where I just was like, that was the breaking point. Because I knew that that 1 month nest egg had to be put to something useful, or it was going to disappear into nothing. So, so I'd say be smart about it. If you can save up some, so that way you have that security for yourself, for your family. Definitely try to do that. If you need to work it on the side um, until you get that nest egg, don't hesitate from trying to do that side work. Some people might have a contractual obligation. I would say if you've got a contract that keeps you from competing with your current work, try to find something else that you could do that would not be considered competition with your work. I was sort of fortunate. My boss, I tried freelancing before I quit. Just for a couple weeks, I was able to work it out with my boss where my hours would get reduced, except that never actually happened. My my boss agreed to it, and then I was still working every time over the week. It just that there was not enough time in the day for me to get all that stuff done. So I was going through the lessons of the No Pants Project while I was doing the dishes, and after my kids went to bed. So I would say the earlier you can start, the better, because it's not going to get easier the longer you wait. So start early, start smart, and I don't know the third thing. I think I mentioned it earlier. Definitely look to your coworkers. If you can like motivate your coworkers with like a 10% sales commission, I mean
Yeah.
that's definitely that worked for me this time. So
I like it. Yeah, definitely use people in your sphere of influence. And for anyone who is considering the No Pants Project, but they haven't really decided, if it's a good fit for them, if it's going to work for them, like what would you say to those folks?
well, I think the program is versatile enough that it can really fit for most people. Um, it's kind of a weird fit for me personally because a lot of the program focuses on writing, and writing is not my thing. I'm an artist. Not that writing's not an art, but I'm a visual artist. So there's some stuff in the program that I kind of have to twist a little bit to get it to work for me. And I'd say that's the most important thing is making. You don't necessarily have to be as flexible as the program is flexible. You don't have to follow every single thing to the letter. You don't have to do every single step. You don't have to follow every step exactly the way it's stated. You can make things work for yourself, and that's the beauty of working for yourself. This is your business. It's your work. Do it the way that makes sense for you. So definitely a lot of the stuff in the program has been proven to work for a lot of people. So I would definitely take all of that stuff into consideration and really try to make it work. But if something's not working for you, change it. Make it work for you. That's why it's there.
Mm-hmm. Modify it, and then there's always like the support and stuff. Everybody in the No Pants Facebook group is amazing. I love posting in there, so I can always be like, how do I make this work? And they're super helpful.
Yeah, I'm posting questions like every single week.
Do it. Yeah. A question a day keeps the doctor away or something. I don't know. There's probably something about that. So, Alex, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you have awesome little girls and snuggles to get. And so thank you so much for taking a little bit of time this morning to tell us about your freelancing journey and how you're going to keep moving forward. And super excited to see you continue to progress and grow your business.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
I'll see you later in the Facebook group, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.